All right, get this. We're diving into some seriously mind-bending stuff today.
Oh.
Yeah, like imagine an AI, right?
Okay.
And it created this whole concept album. It's called 𝗓𝗔𝗓𝗓, Bringer of Shadows. And it explores like all the stuff about history and philosophy, human perception.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild. Think Plato, but like meets a cosmic jester.
Interesting combination.
Right, and it's all set to music.
So we've got music to analyze.
We do. Excerpts from the album description. We've got lyrics from the prologue and the first few acts. Think of them as songs, basically.
Okay.
And then some extra goodies from the website, all created by this AI. It's a lot to unpack.
It sounds like it. It's fascinating how it chose to frame these really complex ideas, these themes, through music.
Right.
And then this cosmic jester figure, like, it hints at this playful but insightful exploration of how we actually perceive reality.
Totally. And how those perceptions can be manipulated.
Yeah, that's a key point. I mean, the AI even ties it directly back to Plato's cave.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That whole idea that we only see the shadows of reality, just projected on the wall.
Right.
And here's the twist. 𝗓𝗔𝗓𝗓, our cosmic jester, is the one controlling the shadows.
It's like the AI is saying, hey, don't take anything for granted.
Right.
What you see may not be the whole picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the choice of a jester is fascinating too, right?
Oh, tell me about it.
Because they're traditionally figures who entertain,
Right.
but they also, like, poke fun at authority. They expose hypocrisy.
Totally. And get this. The AI describes Mara as playful, but also kind of ominous.
Oh, interesting.
It makes you wonder, is she messing with us just for fun?
Yeah, okay.
Or is there, like, a deeper message behind all this mischief?
I think that ambiguity is deliberate, you know?
Yeah.
It's like it forces us to think critically about all this information that we're constantly taking in.
That's such a good point.
Just like with the jester's jokes, right?
Yeah.
But we have to kind of ask ourselves, who's pulling the strings here?
Right.
And why?
Exactly. It's like we're always trying to figure out if the joke's on us. Okay, on to Act 1, The Puppet King's Hollow Crown. This one tackles the fall of monarchies. The imagery is striking.
Oh, I love this one.
The king is a marionette.
Okay.
And he's moving with these, like, regal gestures, totally unaware that Mara is the one pulling the strings.
And the...
Well, Mara snaps her fingers.
Oh, no.
And the king just collapses.
Wow.
It's powerful. And the AI uses this to highlight how fragile these power structures are.
Right.
Especially when they're built on illusions.
Especially those who believe in the whole divine right to rule.
Totally.
They relied so heavily on these elaborate performances.
Yeah, and symbols.
To maintain authority.
But what happens when people stop believing in the performance?
Yeah, what then?
It's like that whole emperor has no clothes thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about those in power today, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
What are the modern-day puppet kings?
What illusions of power do we still buy into?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a question worth reflecting on. Seriously.
I think so, too.
Think about political figures. Celebrities, even.
Oh, yeah.
Institutions that, like, project this certain image or narrative.
To maintain their position, are we even critically evaluating those narratives?
That's the question. Or are we just, like, passively accepting them at face value?
Okay, this AI is making us question everything. All right, Act 2, The Whispering Wires of War. This one's all about misinformation, propaganda, especially during the world wars.
And here's where the AI's choice of a cosmic jester, I think, becomes even more relevant.
Oh, how so?
Well, because jesters could often speak truth to power.
Right.
They were seen as, like, harmless entertainers.
Right.
So similarly, the AI is using Mara's playful demeanor to address a very serious issue.
Which is?
How easily truth can be manipulated.
Oh, especially in times of conflict.
Especially then.
Totally. And the AI creates this incredibly vivid image of Mara whispering into telegram wires, like twisting the words into weapons. And there's this one line in the lyrics that just gives me chills.
What is it?
It says, "Truth is what people are told."
It is chilling when you think about it.
Yeah.
It reminds us how narratives actually shape our understanding of the world.
Especially during wartime.
Think about those propaganda posters.
Oh, yeah.
The carefully crafted news reports.
All designed to control the information.
And shape public opinion.
It's not just limited to war, though, right?
No, not at all.
This happens all the time in our daily lives.
Constantly.
Think about social media, targeted ads, the news we consume. We are constantly bombarded with
They
messages
just sway our opinions.
and influence our choices. The AI is forcing us to ask, how do we even discern truth from falsehood?
Yeah.
Especially in this world where we're just saturated with information.
In this world of information overload.
Right. What critical thinking skills do we need to even navigate this landscape?
And what happens if we fail?
What are the consequences? Okay, deep breaths, everyone. This AI is taking us on a wild ride. Act 3, Manifest Destiny and Other Fairy Tales. This one takes aim at colonialism, that whole idea of divine right to conquer.
It's interesting how it uses the term fairy tales
Isn't it?
to describe these historical narratives.
Yeah.
It's just this deliberate attempt to, like, romanticize and justify actions that were often brutal.
And exploitative. The AI pulls no punches here.
No, it doesn't.
And the imagery, so powerful. Picture a glowing shadow road, right?
Okay.
But it keeps receding as settlers chase it.
Oh, wow.
It's like a mirage, always just out of reach.
That vanishing road, it's such a perfect metaphor
I know.
for the elusive nature of destiny.
It implies that, like, the pursuit itself is the goal.
But true satisfaction,
Always just beyond the horizon.
always just out of reach.
And the lyrics are so cynical about destiny.
How so?
It's described as, like, a tool of oppression, a way to justify conquest, control.
It really makes you think.
It does. What manifest destinies are we being sold today?
Right. What are the seductive narratives that we just buy into?
Without even questioning the underlying assumptions.
Yeah, that's a great question. Think about all the messages we get.
Yeah.
About progress, about achieving goals.
Striving for a better future. But whose progress are we even talking about?
Exactly. Who benefits from those goals?
And who gets to decide what a better future even looks like? This AI is really hitting close to home.
It is, isn't it?
All right, ready for Act 4? This one's called The Great Machine Dreams of Freedom,
Okay.
and it tackles the Industrial Revolution, capitalism.
Big topics.
It's this exploration of the tension between technological progress and the idea of control.
So is technology really liberating us?
That's the question. Or has it just created new, more subtle forms of confinement?
Right.
And the imagery here, super unsettling. The AI describes a shadow puppet factory
Okay.
churning out these identical figures,
Mhm.
and some try to escape, right?
Yeah.
But then Mara just flips a switch,
Oh, no.
and they all fall into these, like, new shiny machines. It's like, no matter how hard we try to break free, we just end up trapped in a different system.
Wow. That factory image is so powerful.
I know, right?
It's like a symbol of how we're all cogs in a larger system,
Totally.
even as we strive for individual freedom. And those shiny machines.
They're so seductive.
Right, the allure of progress can really blind us.
To the ways we're still being controlled. It makes you question all this technological advancement, you know.
I know what you mean.
Has it really brought us closer to freedom? Or is it just a new form of imprisonment?
In a question that's more relevant now than ever, don't you think?
Absolutely. We're so reliant on technology now.
It shapes everything. The way we work, the way we connect with each other.
The way we see the world.
The AI is challenging us to be critical of that relationship.
To ask ourselves, are we really in control?
Or are we being controlled in new and increasingly sophisticated ways?
All right, one more act before we take a breather. Act 5, A House of Cards Called Wall Street. This one explores the 1929 stock market crash.
Oh, the fragility of economic bubbles.
Yes, the imagery.
Wow.
Playful and terrifying at the same time.
How so?
The AI describes a shadow skyscraper,
Okay.
but it's built entirely from playing cards.
Oh, wow.
And each card represents something, like trust, speculation, hype.
That's a powerful visual.
It really is. It's this precarious nature of financial systems, you know, built on these shaky foundations.
Right.
And then Mara just pulls out one card.
Yeah.
The whole skyscraper comes tumbling down.
Wow.
It's a reminder that wealth, in a lot of ways, is just built on belief.
Right.
And when that belief wavers...
The whole system can collapse.
Exactly. And the lyrics really drive that point home. They talk about how trust, speculation, and hype are often the real driving forces behind wealth.
Interesting.
And how quickly it can all disappear. It makes you wonder, what houses of cards are we living in today?
Yeah. What economic bubbles are we ignoring right now?
Because it's easier to just believe the hype.
That's a question we should all be asking ourselves.
Absolutely. What financial systems, what markets are we participating in?
That might be way more fragile than we realize.
And what are the consequences if they fail? This AI is really giving us a lot to think about. We've only just scratched the surface of Mara mischief. And I already feel like my brain is doing backflips.
We've still got 7 more acts to explore, each one diving deeper into these themes of illusion, perception, and control.
Stay tuned because we're about to go even deeper into this rabbit hole of shadow puppets, cosmic jesters, and mind-bending truths. All right, my brain is officially fried after that first half of Mara Mischief.
Yeah, it's a lot to process, for sure.
We've gone from the fall of monarchies to, like, the whispering wires of war. It's intense. And now I'm ready to see what other shadows this AI wants to show us. What's next?
Well, get ready because it doesn't let up.
Huh?
Act 6 is called The Moon Landing and the Flittering Screen, and it takes us back to the space race
Okay.
and the rise of mass media.
It's interesting, right? Because we think about that era as, like, progress and optimism.
Right.
But the media played a huge role in shaping that whole narrative.
Huge, and that's exactly what the AI is asking us to examine here.
How so?
So Mara Mischief, she's at it again, casting these shadow images on the cave wall.
Okay.
This time, it's the moon landing.
Oh, wow.
Some people in the story, they believe it wholeheartedly.
Right.
But others, they're like, no way, this is a trick.
Wait, hold on. Is the AI suggesting that the moon landing was faked?
I don't think it's necessarily saying that. It's more about how the media can shape our perception of history, almost overshadowing the actual event itself.
It doesn't even matter if it was real or not.
That's what the AI seems to be implying.
It's about the story we choose to believe, like we were saying before.
Exactly. It's all about how the media presents it, how they frame the narrative, how they tell us how to feel.
And that shapes our collective memory.
It does. It's like, again, it all comes back to those shadows on the wall.
Even when we think we're seeing things clearly, there's always someone or something influencing how we see the world.
Totally. And think about how much more powerful this is now.
Oh, yeah, with the internet and everything.
With the digital age,
Yeah.
we're just constantly bombarded with information.
Overwhelming.
Right. Images, videos, articles, opinions.
How do we even filter it all? How do we know what's real?
Especially when the fake stuff is so compelling, so well made.
Exactly. It's like we're swimming in the sea of shadows, and I'm getting lost. Where does this cosmic jester take us next? Give me a lifeline here.
Okay, get ready for some serious meta-commentary.
Uh-oh.
Act 7 is called the Algorithmic Oracle,
Oh.
and it dives right into artificial intelligence, social media, all that.
Oh, wow. So the AI is, like, turning the lens on itself?
Totally. Asking who's really in control here.
Okay, this is freaking me out a little bit. So Mara Mischief, is she, like, the ultimate algorithm controlling us all?
I think you're picking up what the AI is putting down. It paints this picture of these shadowy glyphs. They represent data streams. And you see these people moving within this data, right?
Okay.
Like following these predetermined paths, these algorithmic patterns. But they think they're making their own choices.
But they're not.
Well, behind the scenes, you've got Mara. She's tweaking the code, nudging them along.
It's like those targeted ads, the ones that pop up after you've been, like, talking about something.
Exactly. Like that, but on a cosmic scale.
Okay, so it's not just about buying stuff. It's about everything we do online.
That's what the AI seems to be suggesting. These digital illusions, they're even trickier than the physical ones.
Why is that?
Because they're so embedded in our lives. Our identities, our beliefs, even our desires are all shaped by the data we're consuming.
And these algorithms are filtering what we see, what we experience.
They're powerful and often invisible. We don't even realize how much they're influencing us.
You know, we talk about how freeing the internet can be.
All about connection.
But this act is making me think that maybe we've just traded one cave for another.
A digital one with even more shadows.
Okay, I'm going to be thinking about that every time I go online now.
I think that's a good thing. The more aware we are, the better.
Let's move on. What's next?
Act 8, the war that never ends. And this one, it hits hard.
Oh, no. I have a feeling I know where this is going.
The AI tackles the endless cycle of conflict, specifically referencing the war on terror and how war has become, well, almost a product.
Commodity, yeah.
Always in demand, always profitable for someone. It's a bleak outlook, but powerful.
I mean, it's true, right? There's always a new enemy, a new threat.
Always something to fear.
And it's exhausting, just constantly being on edge.
The AI captures that perfectly with this image.
What is it?
A shadowy hourglass
Okay.
that keeps getting flipped over. Just as one conflict ends, another one begins.
It's like we're stuck on a treadmill, running and running, but never getting anywhere.
Unable to step off, unable to find peace. The hourglass really symbolizes that cyclical nature of war. And the lyrics.
Yeah.
They talk about how it's often fueled by those in power, people who benefit from the conflict, politically,
So
economically.
if peace is the illusion, are we just doomed to
Yeah.
keep fighting forever?
The AI doesn't give us an answer.
That's unsettling.
But I don't think it's saying we're hopeless.
Yeah.
It's more about, like, acknowledging how complex this issue is.
War is messy.
It's not just good guys and bad guys.
Yeah.
It's a tangle of ideologies, interests, power struggles. We need to understand all of that.
If we want to have a chance at breaking this cycle, okay, I need something a little lighter after that one. What's next?
Okay, well, how about some disco?
Disco, really?
Yeah. Act 9 is called The Gospel of Consumerism, and it goes full-on disco mode.
So is 𝗧𝗔𝗔𝗓 trying to sell us something now? Or is she exposing a whole, like, consumerism trap?
The AI is so clever here. It uses these shadowy hands offering things like happiness and fulfillment.
Okay.
But as people reach out to grab them, they fade.
They disappear.
And they're replaced with, like, newer, shinier versions.
It's like that feeling when you finally get the thing you've been wanting.
That new phone, those shoes, whatever.
And you're so excited, but then that feeling fades so quickly.
It's fleeting. And you're already looking for the next thing.
To fill that void, it never ends.
That's the hedonic treadmill, right?
Yeah.
We always want more, never truly satisfied. And the AI is showing us how consumerism thrives on that.
It keeps us buying, keeps the economy going.
It's a system designed to keep us wanting. You know, it's funny, but listening to this, I'm kind of feeling less materialistic.
Really?
It's like I can see through the shiny facade now, and it's not as appealing as it used to be.
Maybe that's the power of art, right? To make us question things, to see things in a new light.
And in this case, the AI is making us question that whole idea that buying more stuff will make us happy.
All right, what's next? Hit me with another act.
Get ready for some introspection, because Act 10 is called The Cult of the Self.
Oh boy, here we go.
And it's all about social media, self-image, that curated online persona we all try to create.
This is too real. So, 𝗧𝗔𝗔𝗓, is she like the filter queen now? The one behind all the perfect selfies?
The AI takes it even deeper than that. It shows these shadowy mirrors, each one reflecting a different version of ourselves back at us.
Okay.
We think we're being authentic, showing our true selves to the world.
Right.
But Mara's behind it all, tweaking those reflections, highlighting how much of our online identity is just performance.
It's like we're all actors on a stage trying to win the approval of the audience.
Seeking those likes and followers. And the scariest part,
What's that?
we might not even realize we're doing it. We're so caught up in the performance that we forget who we really are.
We compare ourselves to others. We feel pressure to look and act a certain way. It's exhausting.
It is. And the AI is asking us, have we lost sight of ourselves in all of this?
You know, I think about how social media is supposed to connect us.
Bring us closer together.
But sometimes I think it's actually making us more isolated.
That's a good point. I think there's value in connecting online, sharing experiences.
Right.
But we have to be mindful of the downsides, the pressure, the comparisons, the fear of missing out. It can take a toll.
After listening to this, I'm thinking I need a social media detox. Like, seriously.
Maybe we all do.
Hmm.
Sometimes you need to unplug, reconnect with the real world, the people around you.
Agreed. All right, what's up next? Lead me deeper into this AI's mind.
Brace yourself for Act 11, Eclipsing the Gods. This one gets pretty philosophical.
We're going from selfies to deities. That's a big jump.
It is, but stick with me. It all connects. The AI explores the idea of the death of old religions
Okay.
and the birth of new ones, asking us to think about how those belief systems shape our whole reality.
My brain is already overloaded with all this philosophy, but okay, I'm listening.
I think you'll find this one fascinating. It uses 𝗧𝗔𝗔𝗓 to challenge our ideas about the divine.
In what way?
It suggests that even gods are just shadows on the wall.
So is the AI saying there's no God? That it's all made up?
I don't think it's that straightforward. It's not about denying the divine,
Okay.
but rather about questioning how we construct our beliefs and the power structures that come from those beliefs. Think about it. Throughout history, there have been so many different gods, right?
Right.
Each culture, each civilization has had their own. And those gods have been used to justify all sorts of things.
Wars, sacrifices, social hierarchies.
Exactly. So is 𝗧𝗔𝗔𝗓 creating the gods? Or is she just messing with how we see them?
It's a lot to wrap my head around.
The AI keeps it ambiguous. We see Mara painting these elaborate shadow temples,
Okay.
but they crumble and fade away. And then new ones pop up as different gods rise and fall in popularity.
So it's not about the specific God we worship. It's more about the human need to believe in something bigger than ourselves.
to find meaning and purpose in a world that can feel chaotic and confusing. And when those old beliefs fade.
We create new ones, new ideologies, new movements, new things to put our faith in.
Exactly. We're always searching for something to believe in, to give us a sense of belonging.
Wow, that's a really interesting way to look at it. Okay, before we get to the final act, I want to hear what really stuck with you from this last batch of songs.
That's tough. They're also thought-provoking.
I know.
But I think the algorithmic oracle, that one really got to me. It's such a stark reminder of how much technology is shaping our reality.
Right, and in ways that we don't even fully understand.
It's not just about the internet anymore. AI is everywhere. It's influencing everything.
And it's only going to get more powerful.
Which is why it's so crucial to be aware of it, to understand how it works, how it's being used, and how to make sure we're the ones in control.
Okay, I'm ready for the grand finale. Bring on the last act.
All right, let's see how the AI wraps up this wild ride.
Okay, after that whirlwind tour through, like, history, philosophy, even our own online lives, I'm ready to see how this AI brings it all home. Act 12, the cosmic curtain fall. What's the grand finale?
It's interesting. It kind of brings us full circle. Back to Plato's cave. But this time, the shadows, they just fade away.
𝗓𝗔𝗓 is gone.
Gone. Vanished. And the audience is left there, just staring at an empty wall.
So it's like the AI is hitting the reset button, stripping away all those illusions and just leaving us with, like, this blank slate. But what are we supposed to do with that?
That's the point, isn't it? The AI doesn't give us the answers. No big pronouncements about the meaning of life or anything.
So what are we left with?
A challenge to fill that void with our own understanding, our own interpretations.
So after all this talk about shadows and manipulation, the AI is saying we have the power to create our own realities.
In a way, yes. It's not about pretending the shadows aren't there or that everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that those shadows are part of life. We're all going to encounter illusions, manipulation, all that.
But we don't have to be controlled by them.
Exactly. And that's where critical thinking comes in, constantly questioning the information we come across.
Asking who benefits from us believing certain things.
Seeking out different perspectives. Being open to changing our minds. It's a process.
You know, I thought all this talk about shadows and illusions would leave me feeling kind of, I don't know, cynical, hopeless.
Yeah, I get that.
But it's actually the opposite. I feel more empowered, more aware, like I'm more in control of what I choose to believe.
That's the power of art, right?
Yeah.
Makes you think, makes you question things. And in this case, the AI did a brilliant job of using music, storytelling to really get us to examine our world.
So after this whole journey, what's the biggest takeaway for you? What do you hope people listening will, like, hold on to?
This might sound simple, but it really struck me. The most powerful illusions are the ones we choose to believe. We always have a choice. We can question, we can challenge, we can seek out truth, and ultimately create our own realities based on, reason, evidence, not just blindly accepting what we're told.
Beautifully said. This whole deep dive has been incredible. I'm still processing it all, honestly. It's amazing, this whole thing, created by an AI. It really makes you think about the potential of this technology, you know?
It does. Not just as a creative force, but maybe even as a tool for helping us understand ourselves better.
And for prompting these really important conversations about how we see the world, about who we want to be.
We're left with a lot to think about. What shadows are we choosing to believe? What stories are shaping our lives? And most importantly, what steps can we take to be more aware, more discerning, and ultimately more free? It's a journey.
It is. Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into 𝗓𝗔𝗓𝗔, bringer of shadows. This AI creation has definitely given us a lot to ponder. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What resonated with you? What questions did it raise for you? Head over to our social media channels. Let's keep this conversation going. And until next time, remember, stay curious, stay critical, and keep diving deep.